Corner Crew. I'm going to try to do this update. Today is Wednesday, and here is the Dragon Rampant game. Now, we started this game yesterday and started filming and everything. We had to restart it because the first turn that we did, the video sounded horrible, and the phone was glitching and everything else, so we had to restart it. And then we had a thunderstorm that ripped through and we lost power, and we also had a bear visit the yard before the thunderstorm. This bear entered the yard, and that was exciting. You know, he didn't start any trouble. He was just moving through. He was just passing through, so that was interesting. So Julie and I decided then that we would finish this game today. So we're going to be behind a little bit. I would have liked to get this game out, towards the beginning of the week, but that's not going to happen. So today we're trying to beat the heat. It's going to be really hot this afternoon. Julie is going to come in here soon. We're going to finish this game. I already edited the parts that I have. And again, it's not going to have a first turn. I have something planned for the video so that you guys get an idea what happened the first turn. We did do like a turn summary. Okay, so this way I don't subject you guys to all that fan noise in the background, okay? So Dragon Rampant is going to be out soon. We're still, it's a very enjoyable game, and you guys will see what's happening, what's going on here, okay? So that's Dragon Rampant. Let's come around here. And then we have my painting bench is full of stuff. Now, for my Scratch Builder Monthly, I have an article on these guys. This is my new 172 scale Ghost Army. Multiracial, because the dead do not discriminate. And I wrote a little article giving an update on this. So I'm not going to say too much about this. That's in the article for second tier patrons, but you can see I have a lot of models here that I'm working on simultaneously. A lot of my small scale stuff, 15mm, 172 scale, I'm really trying to get a handle on all those. All right, and then here we have another game set up, and this is going to be a solo war game, however, and you guys here on the channel may get a tease on this. But this is going to be a special edition game for my second tier patrons. And this is going to be part of my Scratch Builder Monthly magazine. And reason why I'm writing it as a battle report, it's going to be a written battle report. Reason why I'm writing it as a battle report is that, first, I always wanted to do that. But second of all, it'll be a little easier on me. Okay, to put in this extra game. So that's going to be part of the Scratch Builder Monthly edition, and it's basically gaming with Scratch builds, and then that's why it's going on the magazine as a little extra battle report, okay? Because all the stuff that I'm using is Scratch built, all the units. Now, you guys remember these walkers and things that I made last year. Here's my 15mm British guys, and basically I'm playing another game using Dragon Rampant rules, okay? So the article is going to explain all that, and we're going to go through all the turns, and it's going to be a cool battle, I think, because what's going to happen is these walkers, I'm going to go back to this project, make more walkers, but they're going to be out of foam this time, not or a mix of foam and clothespins. Here's a couple of access walkers. And basically, what I'm going to do is I'm going to build fantasy walkers for fantasy races. I want to have a game very similar to, based on World War II, but we're going to add some fantasy tropes. So, for example, dwarves and elves and some of these fantasy tropes will be with the allies of World War II. And then some others like orcs and goblins and dark elves, they'll be with the Axis powers. Okay, so I want to make some walkers and vehicles that will represent those races so that I can add a bit more fantasy to all this, okay? And there's my little Sherman. And I'm going to name the vehicles something else as well. And we even have a little air support that's going to come in at some point in the turn. So if you're interested in that, consider being a patron. That'll be on the magazine. I got to play this tomorrow and then write it all up. So hopefully that is the last article that I need for that magazine, and then it's ready to be uploaded. So second tier patrons will have that at the end of July, and the magazine is going to come out like at the end of every month. It'll give me a chance to write things up and get things ready. All right. So this is the board, and it's the Battle for Black River. And right now I have no fantasy tropes. It's just going to be the two human armies, Axis versus Allies. All right. So an interesting little scratch-built homebrew game using Dragon Rampant rules, which I'm going to tweak quite well. All right. So let's move on from this table and move on to the craft bench here. Okay, and this is where I get to see my property, and yeah, that's where the bear crossed yesterday. He was a big bear, to be honest, but again, wasn't looking for trouble. He was just chilling, you know, passing from one place to the next. All right, so basically this is the Spelljammer project. Now what I did is, this is a second phase, but this is smaller scaled ships, with the exception of those elves, because those elf ships are pretty big. They're men of wars, but everything else, everything is smaller scaled. And this is important because these ships are all built of foam. I'm going to be going back to foam, by the way, guys. We're going to be looking at foam vehicles, okay? And I'm going to show you a little bit. For those of you that don't know, I do a lot of work with foam. This is recycled foam, and this is the kind of stuff that you see in meat packages and, you know, produce packages and stuff. And I recycle, collect these trays, wash them up, recycle it. And that is the foam that I use to make these vehicles. So we have quite a few vehicles already done, quite a few ships. We have an Illithid army, navy here. We have the Hammerhead ship, which you guys saw in the community tab. We have two elf ships. There's going to be two smaller elf vessels that go with that fleet. And these are all starter fleets. And we have a human Kraken class battleship. I mean, this thing is huge. Okay, and this is a battleship class. We also have the Heavy Wasp, which I really like, and two Mosquito class gunships, which I'm making up. And those are for lizardmen. So those are the lizard folk navies. And then here is an escort ship for the humans, and that is a escort ship that's going to go with this fleet. Okay, so they're going to have that like squid kind of theme going on for them. And there's a little sloop that I'm going to be making, a space sloop, and that's going to be really cool as well. Probably a little pirate ship or something like that. So again, these are different from the ones that you've been seeing, and I'm sorry, I hope you don't get tired of me updating on these, but whenever I'm involved in a project like that, you know, it's usually long term. So basically, I finished all these ships. I have a few more to go, and I'll have like 3 or 4 starter fleets for the game that's probably going to happen in the fall. Okay, so we're not ready for Spelljammer yet. It's going to be a tabletop homebrew Spelljammer with fleets of warships. Okay, so let's look at some of the other foam stuff that I've made. Okay, and all of the how I built these ships are going to be on my Patreon's bonus video for July, okay? And that is for both tiers. And that is how I make these smaller scale ships, and I talk about foam. You know, basically it's the technique of using foam and scoring it with pencil for making them. The next project that you guys will see some of it here on the channel, but there will be a lot of Patreon content, and it's how I make ships for the game Uncharted Seas. There are quite a few fleets that I'm missing. We're going to make them as scratch builds. Here is a foam hull that I'm beginning because we're going to do a dragon carrier for the Dragon Lords. So stay tuned for that. We're going to do some naval ship scratch builds for that game, okay? Okay, so Spelljammer foam builds right here. Then we have my starship builds, and you guys have seen these already. And I have a couple of videos on my channel about these already. Some of these have been with me for about 6 years or even more in some cases, and some of them are recent builds of last year. Okay, like this one is last year's build. These are last year's build. You know, this one's last year's build. And basically, a lot of these are based on full thrust. But I'm going to be making another batch of starships, and they're going to be all using the same technique. And again, some of that content will be on Patreon, but will also be here, okay? And you guys will get to see the starships, and we'll play some games. I want to make some more stuff for the game FTL, and we are planning to play full thrust. So I want to make sure I have all my full thrust builds ready. Now, the other thing I want to show is these 40K foam builds. And these are cool because this one has like opening hatch. Okay, so it has an opening hatch, front hatch, and then it also has like moving guns. Okay, moving las cannon and all that good stuff. And then we have a little cute little rhino here. Okay, and what I was going to do was with those foam builds, built 40K style vehicles and just have a vehicle combat game using the OPR rules. That means I'll have to make some other faction of vehicles as well. But what I may do, instead of just basing it exclusively on 40K, just make my own stuff. You know, basically, make my own stuff. Design it and do a vehicle game that has to do with you know, 40K-ish vehicles, and we'll play using OPR rules because I like OPR rules. So that's that, and again, you will see some vehicles that do have a 40K flavor to them. So that's another kind of scratch build, and that'll come in the future. Here is a dwarven battleship for the game Uncharted Seas, and again, this one is card and foam. So I would like to build some more stuff along those lines. Here is a more like a World War I battleship. And this one has moving turrets and all that good stuff. This is also foam. And it's really got that World War I kind of look, fortress-like look, right? So I haven't used that scratch build yet. So hopefully we'll do some more naval stuff. And then little 40K Lehman Russ, and that is foam built as well. So I do want to make more Lehman Russ, like a whole little company of Lehman Russ in this scale. That would be kind of cool. Last but not least is mechs, and this was a mech that I built, a space flying mech for the game Horizon Wars, and you know, it's not bad. I want to make some actual walking mechs, and these will be built out of foam. This piece is already almost 2 years old. Okay, so I used it once in a game of Horizon Wars, and it was pretty cool, and I want to build more of those, and I'm going to be using foam to build the fantasy mechs for this game that I'm planning, for this new kind of theme that I'm planning. All right, so yeah, a lot of stuff going on, but priority number one is to finish this game, get this edited, and get this on the channel, because you guys are going to have to vote again, because Stargrave and one of the other games that we had on the polls were tied. Okay, so you guys are going to break that tie. So first things first, we want to get this online. That is the first thing. And remember, patrons get to see videos first, so they're going to see this first. And so then you guys will get to see it here on the channel. So I'm thinking more closer towards Friday, okay? Give myself that amount of time because I'm busy. Today, all I'm doing is batch videos today. I'm not even working in the studio. So batch videos and editing these next couple of days. All right, folks, so I hope you enjoyed this update. And this is a little update to tell you guys what is going on in the channel. And now it is time to go out of the studio.